welcome to the Questionnaires podcast, where each week we source the best questions from Yahoo Answers and attempt to provide the best advice from.
Is the word blinking the plural of winking?
2.
In Jurassic Park, why didn't they just only clone the herbivore dinosaurs?
We're here to prove that every question deserves an answer. Joined with me this week, as always, is Marcus.
Hello, Tom.
And Damien.
Hello, Tom.
It has been a minute, gentlemen. How are we?
It has been a minute. It's been, I mean, we didn't record last week for obvious reasons. We apologized. We were going to first apologize to our listeners. We didn't get one out last week. Life got in the way, as it normally does when we don't record. So we apologize. We got to apologize. But fuck, it's been a while since we've recorded.
I think it's been 525,600 minutes, as the song in Rent states.
It's funny because I thought we would be doing this week's one in person, but again, life got in the way and we are still recording this via Zoom, even though we're about to be in the same room as each other.
That's the thing. I think we're at the point now where we're just like, if we can't sort of make it work in person, it's like we can always just fall back to this as an option. Or maybe it's like that we just don't want to see each other in person. We're just going to be nervous around each other.
It's going to be like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the band The Police. Sting and the drummer Stuart Copeland had a pretty tumultuous relationship by the end of it. And even though they were still touring, and the drummer would actually position his cymbals in a way where he didn't have to look at Sting. Like, so that's going to be us by the end of it. Just like a piece of tape over the webcam while we're recording the podcast.
Don't want to see you.
I don't want to look at either one of you guys in person. That's it. To be honest with you, I am missing you both in person. So hopefully, with fingers crossed, next week will be a live recording.
This whole thing was just an elaborate ruse to finally use my webcam that came way too late. Like, I think it's all past the point now where I don't even need the webcams, but they're all sold out.
You bought it like 6 weeks ago, and it's finally come.
He paid premium. He paid $600 for this webcam because he's like, I'm going to need it when I work from home. Everyone's back in the office, and he's like, wait, what about this? It's 60 frames a second. It's 1080p.
It is
I'm going to have to sell.
Damien.
I had to mortgage the house just to get this webcam. So I'm glad I did
Well,
that.
I will say the quality is worth it, Damien. You look very handsome.
You do. It's great because you've got like a statue in the background. I didn't even realize you had this like statue in the background. It looks like Luke Skywalker's giving Darth Vader a gobby in the background.
Yeah, it
it's great. I love it. Yeah.
Well, if that's what you think is happening behind me, the webcam obviously isn't that good. The image quality. I wanted to ask you guys, seeing as we are kind of transitioning back into normality here in Australia anyway, how have your weeks been? Any standouts, any stories?
I would say no particular standouts for me. I'm feeling the one thing that is big, I guess, in our state particularly is that the AFL football is back, albeit without crowds still, but they have added crowd noises, which I feel like has added a little bit more of like life to it, but at the same time, it reminds me of watching like a video game of the football or something like that. It's just sort of
100%
uncanny to me.
I'm sort of waiting for like Dennis community just to come over and say, out of bounds, on the full. Sort of just go right over it.
Or it's like, passes the ball to Cochin. And like the voice tone changes.
Yeah, it was funny because
I was grab by Brown.
I like the sounds, the crowd sounds, but it was really awkward because last night was the first game that got played, and it was a draw, which is very rare, and there was still cheers after it. Like, yeah, we're happy for a draw. Nobody's ever happy for a draw. It's one of those weird scenarios after a game. So having those sounds is weird, but I prefer
I think
no
what they
sound.
need to do is make it more realistic and add in some like crowd sledging or add in some footage of crowds yelling like abuse at people, maybe cutaways like B-roll to just angry crowd people.
Yeah, it's it. And get some booze in there because there's definitely some things that happened last night that I was like, oh, that would be so booed the shit out of.
We need some booze. We need some balls. We need some... Oh, come on, umps coming through.
Yeah, that's it.
If anything, there's no way AFL would implement a negative reaction to what's happening on the field. So if anything, they're going to start putting in chants like, we love the umpires, like stuff like that to really get that propaganda going for the AFL.
Great job, umps.
Yes,
that was the correct call, umpire. We love it.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The whole crowd is saying that in unison.
Yeah.
Damien, your week's been good the last 2 weeks, or the change of things, has it altered your life in any way?
For the most part, it's been okay. I've kind of noticed now that I've gone back into public that people are starting to, like, they seem more comfortable now to interact with other people, which is kind of nice. Like, I had to take my girlfriend to the doctors the other day. She was all good. It was nothing serious. But at this particular doctor's surgery, it's like half doctor's surgery and also an optometrist. So you can buy like, eyeglasses and sunglasses and stuff. And I was waiting for my girlfriend who was seeing a doctor, and there was a woman who was looking at the glasses, and she said, "Excuse me, can you just help me pick out a pair?" And I told her, I don't work here. And she's like, "Yeah, I know. I just feel like I can trust your judgment."
Were you wearing glasses?
Sorry?
You look stylish. Why not?
Did you have glasses on, Damien?
No, I wasn't wearing my glasses, which is the other thing. So then, while my girlfriend was being seen by the doctor, I'm helping this woman. Her name was Lynn. I'm like, "What about these ones?" And she's like, trying on glasses.
Lynn, I have to say, Lynn, I've known you for quite some time. They really bring out the green in your eyes.
Yes.
I feel like picking glasses, as someone who wears glasses, I can't stand picking glasses because I never know what to pick. But picking them for somebody else, you're like, because you think to yourself when it's your own glasses, this is my look for the next foreseeable future. When you pick it for somebody else, I don't need to see Lynn ever again, so fuck it, why not?
I wanted to imagine that your fiance came out and just saw you hitting on Lynn the MILF. She's like, "What is going on?"
It's funny you say that because that's basically what happened. My girlfriend walked out and looked at me like, "What is going on right now?" And I said, "Lynn, it's not your fault. My girlfriend's just a bit Lynn secure, so don't get her."
We've all got a bit of insecurity in our lives.
Yeah,
but my girlfriend did walk out, and there was part of me, I think my retail muscle kicked back in because I wanted to finish off the sale in air quotes, but I was like, "All right, Lynn, I gotta go now. Catch you later. Good luck with the glasses."
She leaves, doesn't buy anything. Damien's like, "Damn, I thought that was a sale. I thought I had that."
That commission would have paid for my webcam.
That's it.
Oh, well, doesn't matter. Look, make the most of the webcam while you can, because I feel like next time we're going to be seeing each other in person. It's going to be a fantastic experience. But until then, let's get on with the show. The way the show works, of course, is we answer the questions from people from the website Yahoo Answers. We pick our favorite question for that week. We try to provide advice to help those people on their way. That is how the show works. The other thing we do is we name the question askers after a theme. And this week, I think it's Marcus's theme.
It is my theme. It is.
Yes.
So when we are recording this, it was actually a famous day in history, guys. I don't know if you know this or not. Today, actually, no, well, it was a week ago, but whatever. It was the day. It was when we were originally going to plan this theme. But anyway, on this day in history, Martha Stewart got done by the cops for, I think it was tax evasion.
Oh.
And it got me thinking, I want to name our question askers after famous people who were done by the cops who had a famous mugshot. Like that. They need our advice.
Can I imagine that you're an accountant, Marcus? Can I imagine that this is like the Queen's birthday in your office when they're just like, "Guys, do you know what today is? It's the day Martha Stewart got done."
Somebody bakes a Martha Stewart cake and then we all cut it and it gets shared around. It's great. Yeah. I love it.
You guys are just constantly celebrating. There's Wesley Snipes Day. There's Martha Stewart Day. There's just so many holidays.
I wanted to use Wesley Snipes as my guy, but that's okay.
You still can.
Well, let's go with that then. I'm going to go first with this one. This one's going to come from the Blade Man himself, Wesley Snipes.
Oh yeah.
Very probably one of the most famous in my eyes tax evasion people. I feel like he's more on my level than Martha Stewart is. I mean, Blade is a great film, the Blade trilogy. So I feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, don't try to.
I feel like he was a high level case of tax evasion for sure.
He was, yeah. He was big time tax evader. So Wesley Snipes writes in, fast food franchise called yesterday, 9 months after I accidentally damaged property going through drive-through. Do I have to pay them? Okay, I have a pickup truck that is high from the ground. I went through the drive-thru at a fast food restaurant and accidentally damaged a drive-thru window awning. They did not make a comment about me having to pay when it occurred, and no one contacted me about it until yesterday. It's been 9 months since it occurred, and they call right before Christmas to demand that I come in and talk about it, or they would call the police. First of all, I admit the damage, but they could have asked me when it occurred. It's been 9 months, and who knows what other damage has been done to it or how many other high pickup trucks have hit it. I live in a rural area, and most of the men and many women drive large pickup trucks. So how do I even know if the estimate for thousands of dollars of damage is because of my actions? They've had the surveillance tapes for months, and they knew exactly who I was and how to contact me. I'm a repeat customer, and they never confronted me until yesterday. What are my legal obligations to pay? Should I even go in to discuss adjust the payment with them. They do have insurance. Why on earth should I pay the entire cost and not just pay their deductible so their insurance can cover it? Is that not part of the reason that they have it in the first place? Do I need to pay them? Wesley Snipes.
Wesley.
So this is funny. The McDonald's down my end, I feel like the drive-through is positioned like Lombard Street in San Francisco. Do you know that really narrow street that kind of like hooks around and
Yeah.
And you look at all the precautionary poles that are there and like brick walls, and there is just like other cars' paint slathered all over it because people are constantly just like grinding their cars along it.
Yeah.
So I get this person's problem because there's probably been multiple cars have done the exact same thing as him. Also, 9 months later, surely the statute of limitations, like even though they got proof, do they have a case? I don't really know.
Nah. There's surely some statute of limitations, and you could probably say, well, it's been 9 months. How do I know it hasn't been damaged with any other damage? Look, I date a doctor, so I'm only able to give medical advice, not legal advice. But if I were dating a lawyer, I could tell you that statute of limitations is something that I would be looking at. I'm not dating a lawyer. So,
realistically, I'd be dating a lawyer. I wouldn't be a lawyer myself.
I was going to say, the best part of Mark's hypothetical is he can't even imagine himself being in that role. He's just like, I would know somebody who could help me.
Nah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. I can't be a lawyer.
Maybe if I, like, the closest I can get to being a lawyer is hitting on a lawyer and her rejecting me. But if that was the case, I would say statute of limitations is this.
Yeah.
Marcus's dreams are just the most boring thing ever because he stays within his realm of expectation.
My profession's an accountant, so of course it's got to be boring, guys. Come on, calm down.
True.
Yeah.
The reason why this question struck me is because I had an incident this week that was sort of similar, and it threw me off guard. So the other day, it was 2 days ago, I went to the service station to grab a morning coffee, which I had been doing for a couple of weeks, just grab a coffee in the morning and head off, might grab petrol if I need it. But I hadn't been in there for a week, so I had picked up my coffee, I walked over to the counter, and the lady at the counter looked at me and she's just like, do you drive another car? And I had driven a different car before. I've got two cars. And I said, excuse me? She's like, do you drive another car? And she said, a black one. And she said, the registration plate. And I said, oh, yeah, I do actually. And then I sort of thought to myself, did I like fill up with petrol and drive away? Did I not pay for my petrol? And she goes, I didn't charge you for petrol last week. And I said, oh, okay. She goes, yeah, I was a bit like flustered. I had a customer before and I forgot to I didn't realize what I was doing. I didn't charge you. And I said, oh, that's okay. And she's like, so I've been waiting for you all week for you to come in so I can charge you for this petrol. And I said, that's more than fine. I mean, that's I'm not going to be one to steal petrol. But at the same time, I'm almost like, mate, well, this was your fuck up. So why should, what's the statute of limitations for your mistake on me in that situation?
Yeah.
When you actually left with the petrol, like, do you know that you actually did it? Like, did you realize it?
No.
So I was going to say, like, when you actually put your card down to pay, did it say $5? Did it say however much your petrol is, $40?
Here's the thing, Marcus. I throw around my card like it's nobody's business. I knew that. I'm like, it's roughly this much, and I just tap it and I just walk away. With the convenience of tapping and paying, you just tap and go, tap and go.
Have you looked at your bank account? Have you been stooged, Tom?
All right. Are you ready for part 2 of this circle of life?
Let's hear it.
I just looked at my bank account, right? And I'm like, okay, there's got to be an extra charge for this particular petrol situation.
Yeah.
I go into my bank account and I have been credited the price of the petrol rather than deducted the price of the petrol.
So they gave you money for the petrol.
So I basically have... So now I'm curious whether I should even ever go back to this petrol station ever again because I've basically committed to... Well, this person's committed 2 fuck-ups, but it's been on my clock. It's been on my watch. So now I'm like, do I have to blacklist this petrol station, which is, pretty much on my way to work? It's my ritualistic petrol station if I needed fuel. Do I need to blacklist it forever?
I think you do. I feel like this is it's on this lady. Like, all right, like you said,
right.
Like I have worked through a drive-through before, but if someone like goes past and I've forgotten to charge them, like I worked in McDonald's, gone through drive-through, let's just say I didn't charge them for the 50-cent cone. I realized, fuck, I'm going to be 50 cents out on this till.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the 50 cents in. I'm not waiting for that person to come back through for 50 cents. Granted, 50 cents is 50 cents. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I fucked up. I got to pay the difference. Like if I fucked up, she's just going around going, "Now, well, you gotta pay up for your fuck up last week." No, that was your fuck up, lady. You got to deal with it.
I kind of want Tom to go back now just to see if the lady's like, I've been waiting for you.